Hi guys! Okay, today's video is going to be a video response to a video request about expanding on the paradox of the stone. So, firstly, what's a paradox? Well, a paradox is something where the answer seems contradictory. So, why is the paradox of the stone a paradox? Because God has to both be able to create a stone that's too heavy for him to lift, but also he has to be able to lift it, which doesn't really make sense. And God is by definition omnipotent. He has to be able to do anything. Or as Rene Descartes would say, God can do the impossible. So that kind of sums it up. But then impossibility requires no limits. But God would never be able to overcome anything if he had no limits. So omnipotence, saying that he can do anything, means that he would have to also be able to not do anything. So he would have to be able to apply limits. He would have to be able to conform to our logical society, or be able to conform to and adapt to any kind of limit. So he would have to be able to not be able to do things, even though that may seem contradictory in itself. He would have to be able to put himself in our shoes, and he would have to be able to overcome things the way that we do. However, impossibility can exist outside of our realm. So, for example, in our realm, we stick to the laws of biology, chemistry, physics, mathematics. We have all these logical laws. We have a very logical world, a very logical realm. But then God can exist outside of this. By being a deity, by being divine, he exists beyond our logic, which means that he exists beyond our understanding. So, for example, Ludwig Wittgenstein said that the limits of my language are the limits of my world. So, our language is the laws of science and mathematics and our laws of study. This is our limits. We have these boundaries in our logic, but then God exists beyond those boundaries. He goes further by being a deity. And then the impossibility requires being beyond those limits, and our logic requires having those limits. We have to have, it's kind of like light and shade. We have to have the light to see the shade, and we have to have the shade to see the light. It's about seeing both sides of the perspective, and one actually creates the other. You have to have, if we had no limits, then we would have omnipotence. We would be able to do anything, which means that we would be a deity and there would be no God, because we would all be gods. There would be no way of us saying he would not be special by being limitless, because we would be limitless ourselves. And therefore, by definition, he has to exist in a realm that is limitless and beyond our understanding, so that we have limits and we have understanding in ourselves, because it's applying to his definition. So, in answer to the question, I believe that if a God were to exist, yes, he could both create a stone that's too heavy for him to lift and be able to lift the stone. So that's my answer to the question. I would love to hear your opinions on the topic. So leave some comments in the space below, and I'll do another video tomorrow. Okay, thank you.